A small iced coffee.
Starting her day at a Miami cafe, 21-year-old Cuban American Alexa Ferrer opposes President Trump's hard line on travel to Cuba.
There's a lot more people like me. Maybe we're not vocal, we're still in college, but we all want to go.
Despite the U.S. president's warm reception in Miami recently, some Cuban Americans are worried. Donald Trump's words have drawn into stark relief divisions among many in this community who remain to be convinced about the president's new policy. Ferrer has no relatives in Cuba, so she cannot take advantage of a rule allowing Cuban Americans to visit family on the island. But she was able to fly to Havana earlier this year under Obama-era regulations that made it easier for individual U.S. citizens. The Trump administration says Americans can now only travel as part of organized tours.
Making it harder for Americans to travel is going to hurt most of all the Cubans on the island, the ones that are operating the bed and breakfast, the ones that are operating the restaurants.
But other Cuban Americans say President Trump missed an opportunity to do more. Jaime Suchlicki, the director of a university research center in Miami, wants Cuba put back on a U.S. list of state terrorism sponsors after it was removed in 2015.
Cuba is very much a supporter of terrorism, so I don't think that he should have been removed, and I told the president he should have been included again.
Suchlicki is calling for an increase in U.S. radio broadcasts to Cuba, and he hopes changes that made it easier for Americans to send remittances to Cuban relatives will be reversed, because he says the Cuban government benefits from the currency exchange rate. But despite reservations, many Cuban Americans still support Trump's tougher stance.
This policy, little by little, will resolve some of the problems that Obama didn't solve.
Trump is doing the right thing by not giving away so much to the Cuban government in exchange for nothing.
Where is the places that you want to go?
Meanwhile, Alexa Ferrer is not alone in her desire for closer ties with Cuba. A poll last year showed 70% of Miami's Cuban Americans supported rapprochement, and more than 60% opposed the U.S. embargo. Steve Mort, CGTN, Miami.